Prompting Strategies. Part 1. The Hierarchy and Natural Cues. Welcome back. In Video 3, you learned how to break complex jobs into teachable steps using task analysis and how to conduct baseline assessment to figure out where your client needs help. Now you know what to teach. Today we're going to talk about how to teach it. This is the first of 2 videos on prompting strategies. Prompting is the help you give someone while they're learning a new skill. It's the guidance, the cues, the support that moves them from "I can't do this" to "I can do this independently." Today's focus is on the prompting hierarchy and natural cues. Let's start with the basics. What is prompting? A prompt is any help you give to increase the probability of a correct response. That's it. You're making it more likely that the person will do the right thing at the right time. Prompts are teacher behaviors. Things you say, things you do, things you show. All designed to help the person complete a step correctly. Here's an important principle that I need you to really hear. Response prompts are designed to make learning more positive and increase the efficiency of instruction by eliminating errors. We don't want people failing over and over while they learn. That's frustrating and demoralizing. Instead, we use prompts to guide them toward success. Think of prompts like training wheels on a bicycle. They're temporary support that helps someone learn. Eventually, you take them off. But while they're learning, those training wheels prevent crashes and build confidence. Why does prompting matter in job coaching? Because at a job site, you need to teach skills quickly and effectively while drawing as little attention as possible to the person you're supporting. Remember that principle from Video 3? It's critical to use instructional techniques that draw as little attention as possible, yet still provide effective instruction. Prompting lets you do that. When done well, prompting is subtle. Other people at the workplace can't tell you're teaching. It just looks like 2 coworkers working together. The key to good prompting. Use the least intrusive prompt that works. This is the foundation of everything we're going to talk about. Always start with the smallest amount of help. Only increase your support if the person needs it. Why? 3 reasons. Reason 1. Dignity and respect. The more you do for someone, the less independent they appear. We want people to look as competent as possible. Reason 2. Natural fit. The less intrusive the prompt, the more it fits naturally into the workplace. A gentle question blends in. Standing behind someone with your hands on, theirs does not. Reason 3. Easier to fade. We'll talk more about fading in Video 5, but here's the preview. The less help you give, the easier it is to step back. If you start with too much support, it's hard to reduce it. So remember, least intrusive but effective. That's the goal. The prompting hierarchy. Now let's talk about the prompting hierarchy. The hierarchy organizes different types of prompts from least intrusive to most intrusive. It gives you a roadmap for how to help someone. Here's the hierarchy, from least to most. Level 1. Natural cue. Independence, least intrusive. The person completes the behavior without any prompt from you. They respond to what's naturally in the environment. Level 2. Indirect verbal. You ask a question or give a hint. What's next? Or, what should you be doing now? Level 3. Direct verbal. You tell them exactly what to do. Place the mop in the bucket or wipe down the counter. Level 4. Model. You show them how to do it. You demonstrate the action while they watch. Level 5. Partial physical. You briefly touch them to guide their movement. A tap on the elbow, a gentle nudge. Level 6. Full physical. Most intrusive. You physically assist them through the entire movement. Hand over hand guidance. That's the hierarchy. Natural cues at the top, full physical at the bottom. 3 important terms you need to know. Non-controlling prompt. A prompt that may or may not elicit a response. For example, asking, "What's next?" might work, or it might not. It's a non-controlling prompt. Controlling prompt. A prompt that reliably and consistently elicits a correct response. If hand-over-hand guidance always results in the person completing the step correctly, that's a controlling prompt. Transfer of stimulus control. This is the technical term for what we're trying to accomplish. When a behavior evoked by one stimulus, your prompt, comes under control of a different stimulus. Natural cues in the environment. We want to transfer control from you to the workplace. 6 guidelines for using prompts effectively. These come directly from research on what works. Follow these principles every time you teach. Guideline 1. Select the least intrusive but effective prompt. Use the least intrusive prompt that actually works. Let the person perform as independently as possible. Guideline 2. Combine prompts if necessary. Sometimes you need to blend prompts. You might model while also giving a direct verbal. That's okay. Use what works. Guideline 3. Select natural prompts related to the behavior. Your prompts should resemble behaviors that are used naturally in that environment. Don't be weird. Be subtle. Guideline 4. Prompt only when the individual is attending. If they're not paying attention, your prompt won't work. Make sure they're focused on the task before you prompt. Guideline 5. Provide prompts in a supportive, instructive manner. Prompts are not corrections. They're not punishments. They're guidance. Your tone matters. Be supportive, not harsh. Guideline 6. Fade prompts as soon as possible. This is critical. Start fading from day 1. The moment someone can do a step with less help, give them less help. We'll talk more about fading in video 5, but this principle starts now. Natural cues, the gold standard. Now let's talk about natural cues in depth. This is the most important type of prompt you'll use. A natural cue is anything in the environment that signals what to do next. It's not you. It's something that's already there. Examples. The washing machine stops. That's the natural cue to take the laundry out and put it in the dryer. People leave their table at a restaurant. That's the natural cue to bust the table. The phone rings. That's the natural cue to answer it. A pile of dishes appears in the sink. That's the natural cue to start washing them. Natural cues are everywhere. Your job is to help your client learn to recognize them and respond to them. Why are natural cues the gold standard? Because they'll be there after you fade out. You won't be at the job site forever. But the washing machine will always stop running when the cycle is done. The phone will always ring when someone calls. When someone learns to respond to natural cues instead of your prompts, they become truly independent. Here's the technical term. We want to transfer stimulus control from your prompts to natural cues in the environment. How do you teach someone to respond to natural cues? This takes intentional work. People with disabilities often need support learning to recognize and respond to environmental signals. Strategy 1. Point out the cue explicitly. Don't assume they see it. Say, "Notice how the phone is ringing?" That's your signal to answer it. Make the cue visible and clear. Strategy 2. Connect the cue to the action. When you see dishes in the sink, that means it's time to start washing. Create a clear if-then relationship. Strategy 3. Use the cue consistently. Every time the natural cue appears, reference it. The laundry is done. You can hear the buzzer. That's your cue. Strategy 4. Fade your verbal prompts, but keep highlighting the cue. Over time, you'll say less. But early on, you're teaching them to pay attention to what matters in the environment. Here's a real example from job coaching. An employee at a restaurant needs to know when to bus tables. The natural cue is, people stand up and leave. Early on, the job coach says, "See how those people are leaving? That's your cue to bust their table." After a few days, "Look, they're leaving. What do you need to do?" After a week, the job coach just gestures toward the leaving customers. After 2 weeks, the employee sees people leaving and automatically goes to bust the table. No prompt needed. That's transfer of stimulus control. The behavior that used to be triggered by the job coach's voice is now triggered by the natural cue. People leaving. What if natural cues aren't enough? Sometimes the natural cue isn't obvious enough, or the person has difficulty attending to environmental signals. That's when you add artificial cues. An artificial cue is something you create to make the signal clearer. Examples: a timer alarm signals when break is over. A colored dot on the clock shows what time to start a task. A checklist with pictures shows the sequence of tasks. A sample of the finished product shows what done looks like. These are artificial cues, but they're better than constant job coach prompts because they're still in the environment. They don't require you to be there. They're usually less stigmatizing than constant verbal reminders. The goal is still independence. Artificial cues are a step toward natural cues. Here's the progression. Stage 1. Job coach verbal prompts. Stage 2. Artificial cues. Timer, checklist, visual reminder. Stage 3. Natural cues. Environmental signals. You're always moving toward natural cues. That's the goal. Let's review what you learned today. First, prompting is any help you give to increase the probability of a correct response. Prompts should be supportive, subtle, and effective. Second, the prompting hierarchy goes from least intrusive, natural cues, to most intrusive, full physical. Always start with the least intrusive prompt that works. Third, natural cues are the gold standard. They're signals already in the environment that tell someone what to do next. Your job is to teach people to recognize and respond to these cues. Remember the 6 guidelines. Least intrusive but effective. Combine if needed. Use natural prompts. Prompt when attending. Be supportive, and fade as soon as possible. In Part 2, we're going to go through each level of the hierarchy in detail. You'll learn exactly what indirect verbal prompts sound like, when to use models, how to do partial physical prompting correctly, and when full physical is appropriate. You'll get examples of each type and practice thinking about which prompt to use in different situations.